Okay, friends, hello. So today we have Sumita ma'am again with us, Sumita Datta. You might have seen her in our previous session. So she's a delivery manager having 20 years of total IT experience. And most of the work she has done into banking and financial service domain, BFSI domain. So Sumita, thank you one more time. And yeah,
Pleasure.
welcome to our show, Sumita.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Sunil.
Yeah. So, Samita, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself in brief? Yeah, something about
Okay,
yourself.
so as I said that I started my career as a developer in almost 20 years back, and that also with a bank. And then gradually I upgraded myself into a senior developer as usual, usually the path that every software engineer takes. But yes, then I moved into support. So I have some exposure of support activity. When I was in IBM, I was working as a support guy. Then I moved myself as a system analyst role. So I worked as a system analyst for a couple of years. And then I chose the path of project management. And in today, I think after 7, 8 years, since last 7, 8 years, I'm doing the project management and I'm now looking into the services of as a delivery manager.
Hey, thanks, Samita.
Thank you.
So, friends, so today's session is more on to understanding the more about service delivery manager, as you might have seen in the thumbnail. Some of the questions are real life questions which everyone thought like, okay, how these people are doing. So, Sumita, shall we start?
Yes, please. I'll try
Okay,
my
okay.
best to answer so that it helps.
Okay, definitely. So, Sumita, I was like wondering, most of the people, till they are into leads and all, they are still confused, like how this new project came to picture. So, what I'm asking over here is like, can you explain a little bit about, are you involved in the bidding process of new project, and what kind of inputs do you provide to pre-sales or a sales team while you guys are into bidding process and all those things? Like you can help in SOW or proposal drafting. So what kind of help is required from you or from some of the project manager who are working, with you? So
Okay. So basically, how from a RFI, RFP, we respond, we create a SOW, and then it gets converted into a project, right? So there are two ways, Sunan. It's a different, altogether a different approach for the bigger organization, and it's different for a smaller organization. As you know, that I have worked with startups, I have worked with very big organizations also, and I have worked with medium organization also. So for the small organization, it's easy, quite easy, I should say, though it is not uh, very easy. Otherwise, it's very challenging because the process and everything has to be followed. But it is the PM, the delivery manager, the team lead, and the architects, they all come together. So they need to understand. So if I, as a team lead working for a small organization, and there is a proposal which has come, I need to understand the process. Whereas in bigger organization, the team lead doesn't need to follow the process or probably need to know the process, but to follow the process, because there is a already pre-sales team and there are n number of templates, there are n number of calculation methodologies that the pre-sales team is already aware of. So they help the team down the line to get the data and put it in the final template to make it a proposal. So there is a bid manager. Process wise, there is a bid manager, and then bid manager tries to understand whom all he needs to include or involve in that proposal work. There is a start date and end date. And yes, first, like there is a concept of deal review. So there are a couple of cycles of deal review. The first deal review is accepting the deal. The second deal review is they have a basic set of questions that are new, in a new proposal the vendor asks, so you have to answer. So that is probably deal review 2. Then if the vendor thinks that yes, you have answered all the questions correctly, Then probably the final stage come where you have to give what your product is offering, what all features are there, what all customization needs to be done for that feature, for that proposal, and what is the budget and estimation. At times budget and estimation can come into deal review 4 also. So it really depends on how big or small the project is or the proposal is. Then the bid manager recognizes the team. A team is being formed, a new project code is being formed, there is a weekly call, daily call is being formed, and there are a lot of question answer is being logged into an Excel to understand the real proposal into a lower level of understanding. Once everything is clear, probably we start understanding how to respond now. So basically, we have to understand what the customer's need is, what our product is having if we have an existing product. Then again, there are two things. So it's not a very small topic what you have asked, Sunan. It's a huge topic. So again, there are two ways. Like if it is a already existing project, it's easy. But if the product is absolutely new, then there is another way of calculating. Let me not go into that. Let me just tell you basically how the calculation or the estimation is being done based on the already existing products. Say, for example, a bits and pieces customization may require. So we look into the history. Based on historical data, we plan, we decide. There are other ways of calculation or estimation also. We may break down the understanding, the requirement into lower level, and then we go up to understand what exactly we have to do. Then again, there is a way we have to, if we know the product very well and it is too much similar, then probably we decide the small, medium, large. We divide the components. We get into that level also. So it really depends on what type of proposal has come and what is the expertise of the team. If I have a very good architect, if I have a very good product owner or a product manager, the team lead, very good knowledge, less customization required, it is very easy. But say, for example, I have a product which is a legacy product, but something has come where the vendor wants an automation and I have never done automation. Then there is a challenge. So it really depends. But yes, you have to follow the process. There is a start date, there is an end date. You have to ensure that you ask questions to the vendor, because the more and more you ask questions, your understanding will be clear exactly what they need before you present the final proposal.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sumita, for that. Okay, so just a small follow-up question, as you mentioned a lot of things about project which we are discussing. So on what basis do we categorize project? So I mean, how it help to approach the project? So because maybe based on scope or size or speed of implementation, or maybe on location wise, different types of technology. So on what basis you categorize different projects?
See, when a project or a proposal comes, there may be a possibility that in a multinational company, it's easier because a proposal may come from US, a proposal may come from Asia Pacific, a proposal may come from Europe. Then we have our team in every location. So we try to route the proposal to that location of that sales team, or at times it comes through that region sales team. However, there may be a possibility that Europe, say for example, the proposal has come from Europe, but particular for that proposal, Europe do not have the bandwidth or expertise. The team is here in Asia Pacific, right? That is your question, right? So what we do, we calculate, we collaborative way, we work with them. And then when we manage, there are a lot of things we have to think about it. Say, for example, 24/7 support. Say, for example, if we have to start working, whether our team India will work or team US will work or Asia Pacific or team Europe will work. Based on that, we have to understand if we have to ensure that our team India is working, probably we'll have to change the timing. So for that different time zone, the resources may ask for extra benefit or compensation. That also we have to calculate. So it's Sunand, it's a huge probably understanding. Probably one session will be needed for this proposal and SOW understanding. But yes, it starts like that, but it gets calculated in a very different bits and pieces, and then we merge again to create a final proposal.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's talk something about something different now. Okay, so we heard a lot of things with respect to penalties, specifically when you are, as you mentioned, when you're working with banking clients and all. So let's say if your service is not up and running for a certain duration, or in the morning, the start of day is not happening right on time. So there are a lot of penalties which are involved. There are a lot of penalty clauses are there. So how you manage uh, project delays which cause penalties? So is this like some kind of buffer is there, or what if you have some mitigation or contingency plan or different altogether budget for all these kind of penalties? If you want to share something on same.
The answer is in your question only, Sunand. We have a contingency budget. Usually we keep in every project, in every organization. So the moment we touch the contingency, see, there is a plan that has been created in the beginning of the project. There is a budget which is created, and there is a contingency budget. And weekly basis, monthly basis, there is a monitoring happens for every project in every organization, irrespective of bigger or smaller. The moment we see that, yes, there is a probability of touching the contingency, we probably get into a management call. However, for penalties and all, usually it doesn't happen. For any of the project, if I remember, once, I will not name the organization, but yes, we were about to get into that zone where we have to pay a penalty. However, instead of helping them from offshore, we travel to onshore. So we gave a support to them. We have taken a couple of resources, and I was a PM, so I have traveled along with the resources to ensure that we are working hard and satisfying client. So again, to avoid penalties, there are ways. You have to react proactively. You cannot be reactive, that okay, fine, once it comes we will see. No, not at all. As a project manager, you have to be very proactive to check if your customer is not satisfied. One email, two email, third email, and your signal should connect that no more email, rather let me look into it and figure it out what is going wrong, right?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Sumita, for that. Okay, so uh, as into a banking industry, right, we still have a lot of legacy products or system which are still working, mainframes and all those things. So how you sell, or I would say package your old legacy product in this era of automation and RPA and machine learning? So you guys face this kind of challenges when you are selling your or packaging your stuff to the new clients?
I will not say that we face challenges. I'm proud about it that I'm still a legacy person because our products are very stable. But yes, as you rightly said, that a lot of new technologies have come, and who doesn't want a new things to adapt? A new mobile phone is coming. We always intend to buy a new mobile phone, new handset, new TV, new fridge, right? So similarly, we always try to find out that is it possible to enhance something into our legacy system which benefits the customer. Because no matter legacy or new technology, as a product or service manager or as a delivery manager, I feel that we should always focus on customers' satisfaction. So what in today's date customer wants? Say, for example, I have a banking project where there is a savings account I as a customer need to open. So for ABC Bank, I have to go to the counter. Now, in today's date, PQR Bank is giving a mobile app where my ABC Bank is not giving. I as a customer feel like having a option where I can open a savings account sitting at home from my mobile. So probably that's a customer's need of the hour. So we as a senior management of the project or manager of the project, we need to understand the need, and then probably we'll need to focus on small, and we need to go slowly, and probably some demo we prepare. We create a POC on a small part, creating an account, a check processing, we implement RPA into that. So those are all part of innovation. It happens part of innovation, and then we present it to client, and we ask them during contract renewal, we ask them, see, this is what we have. Whether would you like to take this as a package? Whether do you want to enhance your package? And then one customer takes it, we are done. Because the reputation matters, the word of mouth matters. What if people are satisfied, they will definitely recommend. So yes, it at times it is challenging, but bringing automation, bringing DevOps, coming out of waterfall, and bringing agile into the development process definitely helps. And though it is legacy, I think I still proudly say that legacy is still going on and it will go on. However, we will have to customize as and where needed the best possible way.
Definitely, yes. Thanks, Smita, for that. Okay. Yeah, so the next one is a little tricky, I would say. So if you can share any of your past project experience where your team or your project is entirely into a trouble, or I would say in a red, and how you effectively manage that situation. So if you want to share some of that experience, because that experience
it's difficult. Yeah, I had a couple of, not one. Again, I'm not going to talk about which project or which organization it is. There are two incidents where the core resources moved out. Sorry, the core resources moved out, and the very junior level resources were present. They were not knowing exactly what to do, and like issues used to come. And in a banking project, whenever a production issue used to come, it's very difficult. You have to probably respond within 2 hours and fix and deploy in production, right? So that circumstances, in that scenarios, if the resource is taking 5 hours or 2 days, you can understand how difficult it is. So it was almost like client was about to pull the plug. It happened in one of my project. So what happens exactly? There are some manual processing also there. If the automated process doesn't work, so the bank's team, though, was doing the manual work simultaneously to ensure that customer is not getting affected. However, we were literally going through the trouble because we were given time, to be very honest. We were said that if within 72 hours you cannot fix it, probably the contract will go to some other bank. So at that time, we had definitely challenges. We went to client location again. We sat with client because every client, they also have their core resources. But yes, the contract is we are supposed to do the work, not them, though they know, right? So in that case, it becomes little challenging. But as a project manager, I had to go there. I had to take my team there, and day and night we worked. We recruit some new people who had good technology knowledge. So somebody is having good technical knowledge, somebody has having good functional knowledge. Sit together and then work along with client definitely helps, and it helped for us also. And we had to, that project is still going on with that customer.
Okay, thanks.
So did I answer your some confusions?
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is more on a people-centric part. So as a project manager or as a delivery manager, how you contribute towards your team career growth or people performance? So if you can shed some light.
Okay. So probably you can interview some of my team members. They will tell me, they will tell you. So basically, I think people manager is a very sensitive role, Sunan. As a people manager, I never have taken this role very casually, and I always suggest every people manager that if you are sincere about the people management role, then only go for it, because it is a how I should say, probably a resources carrier roadmap you are building, right? So you are like a parent of that resource in the corporate. So I will still say that probably I'm still learning as a people manager. I have almost completed 8 to 10 years, but I will still say that I'm learning. Every day is a learning experience. But I try to sit with the resources. I try to understand the resources need, what they're willing to do, and what is their ambition, what they are aspiring to do. At times, I request the resource to have some patience, because it is not one way, it is both way. The resource may be looking for some RPA project, but our organization may have some analytics work. How can I fulfill as a people manager that resources need, right? So at that time, I really request that resource either to switch from RPA to analytics, because the need of the hour is analytics in our organization. Because if I say that no, the resource, I may lose the resource. I don't want to lose any resource, because yes, they invest some time in the project and I also invest some time with them. So I never want any resource to lose because of lack of opportunities. So organization level, there are a lot of ways that we can explore. There are internal IJP process also. So if I see that the resource is really good at RPA, but we don't have an opportunity in RPA, but there is another project in the organization that probably can, help him to fulfill his dream. Then I give him 3 months target. I tell that create a backup of yours who can work your work, what you are doing currently. Then you take an IJP and go to the next project. Nobody is stopping you, because see, nobody wants to retire from a particular project. Nobody wants to retire from a particular organization, right? Everybody has an dream to go to next level, go to new organization. So we as a project manager or as a people manager need to understand and always try to ensure that a backup is being created. But creating a backup doesn't mean that the main resource is at risk. No, I'm very transparent at that, Sunan. I always tell that creating a backup means you are learning something new. Your job is not at all at stake. Rather, you are having a helping hand and you have some time to explore some new opportunities, new learning. So that way I try to talk to my team as a people manager.
Great, Sumita. Thanks for that. And just a follow-up question. So you might have seen this attrition rate is nowadays is very high. So I mean, I'm just thinking like if you can just share some of the possible ways which can help in attrition reversal. I mean, we can always want to retain high performer, right, in our team. So apart from monetary benefit, is there anything else which project managers
Recognition, pat on the
Okay.
back award, some good recognition at the right time to the right candidate. And see, at times, good job, Sunan, also helps, right? I may not give a may not give a monetary recognition to somebody, but I can always send a nice mail, sorry, looping the customer. Or I can request customer to send a mail if that resource have done really good and if customer is happy. Because usually, usually we do not ask customers, but at times client itself sends mail to the managers. Then we pass on those mails. We tell in a team meeting about that recognition. Because when a customer sends a mail for a resource called A, that mail doesn't go to the whole team. So I, as a manager, it's my responsibility to let the entire team know that, look, A has done such a good job that he has got a recognition from client. So in that way, recognition definitely helps. Giving opportunities definitely helps. Motivating resources to learn new topic or do some new certification definitely helps. And yes, as I said, if I know that I have a backup and this resource have really invested a good amount of time into this project, and now this resource wants to go to some other project, and any resource I lose is a loss for my project, I agree. But at the same time, as a people manager, I should also understand that, as I said in your previous question, that every resource have some aspiration and they would like to go to the new role, better role, higher role. So we have to create backup, right? So we can motivate in three ways: celebrate the recognition by calling out the name in the team meeting, by sending a thank you mail, good job mail. Some monetary recognitions are also there in many organizations. There is a budget from which you can always give. I think in IBM we have pat on the back or something, I can't remember, but yes, in every organization there are some ways or other, mode of recognition through monetary recognition and some e-card. Then talk about that resources in the team meeting, encourage them to learn new things, and certification, encourage them to do certification.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Sumita, for that. Okay, so this one is a little bit on a technical side with respect to project managers. So how you guys manage your revenue, your margin or growth at the same time? I'm sure like you guys will also get some kind of target or something, goals to achieve within a project. So it will be always a tricky, right, to uh, pay attention to all these three important
That
aspects:
is
revenue,
being
margin, and growth.
calculated, yes. So usually when we start a project at the beginning of the year, we calculate what is the percentage of profit we want to keep. So that is fixed. After that, a budget comes to the manager to handle, say, for example, 90 resources or 9 resources, no matter how many. Now, whenever we take a new resource, an existing resource goes, a new resource come, usually the new resource are coming with higher salaries. So there, this problem comes, Sunand. So we have some budget for this. We usually, every project is having some budget for that. And at the same time, at times, you know, there are monthly metrics that we prepare, and there are monthly review happens to look into the budget, what we planned and what is the actual and what is left. So the moment there is a concept of green, amber, red, right? So if we are green, we are happy. If we are amber, then yes, it is time to revisit. So the moment it goes to amber, we really need to pull up our socks and figure it out. What is the best possible way we can manage the project in next 2 months, manage the budget in next 2 months so that it comes down to green. So those are again being calculated with the management, and then we figure it out how to, ensure that the project is back in green.
Thanks, Sumita, for that. Okay. Again, the next question is again very common. So, how you guys deal with rapidly changing technologies nowadays? So, when I say changing technology with team and for yourself as well.
Yes. So as a legacy system owner or a manager, or giving a service for a legacy system, yes, it is challenging, Sunan. But at the same time, we have to understand what is the need of the hour. Automation is the need of the hour. So we try to bring DevOps. Automation is the need of the hour. We try to bring RPA. Continuous change is happening in today's era. It is not like whatever design has been written 8 months back, we are coding right now. No. So probably moving out from waterfall and coming into a agile methodology of working helps. at times working closely with support and development teams along with testing team in a collaborative way helps. And yes, if we have to bring automation, if we have to bring DevOps, if we have to bring RPA, we need budget, right? So these are all interrelated. So we probably go to the management, we ask that, look, this is what our forecast is for next year. And to enable this, we need this much budget. If the budget gets approved, then we implement. And for that, we have to train our resources. We never let the resources go and take new resources for new technology. No, I do have in my team who are writing code in COBOL and who are doing test automation. I do have resources in my team who are doing a support work at this in mainframe, and at the same time who are working on robotics. So we really encourage our resources to learn new technology. Again, it depends, Sunand. Every resources are not same. It is both way. I as a manager, I have to give opportunities. You as a resource also should accept, and learning is a continuous process. Right. So it is again both way. If you are not willing to learn, if you only want to do mainframe, probably you stay back in support or you stay back in development core and you continue doing. We do have that process also. But yes, in today's generation, everybody wants to learn something new. So we give opportunities in a rotation basis. We try to give every resource in some area some work, and I as a manager also need to understand what is RPA, what is automation, how DevOps work. Probably I do not go into that coding level, but I feel as a manager, as a senior manager, yes, the overall understanding the concept I should have, so that I can talk to the team, I can talk to client. So for that, I also have to do the basic reading, understanding certification.
Okay, thanks, Sumita, for that. Okay, so again, this one is a little tricky. So how you're going to convince a client for extra resource billing or demanding some additional IT infrastructure resources or something like that? Because sometimes clients say that, no, no, we are happy with whatever we are doing. We don't want to spend more money on some kind of project, right?
We
So
have to
what?
show the benefit. We have to show the benefit. So it is really tricky, Sunand, and it's not easy to convince customer. But if we can show that after investing this million rupees or after investing this much money, what is the benefit you will get? If we can show them, probably the stakeholders agree. But yes, as you said, that I'm going to ask you a tricky question. Yes, it is tricky. So we have to present them. We have to make them understand that in next 5 months, we are, say for example, I told you, right, mobile app. Say for example, we are coming up with a mobile app. Customer do not want, but we thought that let's, implement mobile app in our product, but where from the money will come? Right? We have to buy a couple of hardwares also. Where from the money will come? Who will give those hardwares? So what we do, we create a small proposal, we create a small POC, we show them, and then we tell, see, this is the benefit. In today's COVID era, nobody wants to go to bank and open a new account. Nobody wants to go to bank and do a deposit. So if we can do a e-banking, how things will be easier and you will attract more customers. So there are data, so analytics comes there. So in today's date, say for example, I have 200 customers who are coming to the branch, and people gets, the senior citizens, for them it's very difficult to come to the bank. So we really need to present in a very structural way that this section of the society will get benefited if we implement mobile app. And if we see that, yes, they have 30,000 customer, among 30,000, probably 15,000 customers are very senior. It's very difficult for them to come to bank. If we give them mobile application, probably it will be easier. But at the same time, we have to check the region. If it is in India, probably those senior people may not be able to handle mobile. There may be a possibility. So if it is Europe or US, probably it is easier. So Sunan, there are many areas which we need to understand the market, understand the need and the impact, the benefit, and then only we can go. And if there is a benefit, customer sees, why they will not agree? They will definitely agree and invest.
Correct. At the end, it's all about savings and cost, right? So if we do the
Absolutely.
proper cost benefit analysis, and if they find the benefit and some savings,
Absolutely.
obviously they will migrate. They will agree. Okay, great. Okay, so this one is more on a matrices part. So if you can highlight some of the key matrices, if not all, which you normally use to monitor or track your complete program or at portfolio level. So that will be a great help, Samita.
So matrix is, see, basically the first matrix, as I said, is plan versus actual. What we are planning and what is the actual expenses. So that probably, if it's a small project, probably weekly basis. If it is a large project, probably monthly basis you monitor. Then schedule adherence, design schedule adherence, uh, development schedule adherence, then QA effort. Basically, once I as a developer do a coding, there is a person who will do a QA. So say, for example, I have 5 resources. For a particular resource, the QA is coming too much. And for other 4 resource, per component, say for a CR, there are 20, 25 components, right? If we break down the CRs, our module. So per module, our metrics is probably per module, not more than 2 issues should come after QA review. But for a particular resource, there may be a possibility for every module, more than 5 review comments are coming. So that means there is an alert. It is amber. We have to look into that. So those are the metrics help us to bring the project on track. And then one more, I should say that, the architects, the designers, they do the IA, impact assessment. So we keep getting lot of impact assessments, lot of CRs to impact assess. However, finally, are they getting converted into a CR or not? Because when we are doing a IA, we are investing our time. If these IAs are not getting converted into CRs, then there is no money. No money is coming to us. So that is again a tracker. Probably we need to check if it is a bigger project, that how many CRs we have IA'd and how many of those CRs got converted into an actual CR. If there are 40 CRs, probably we have IA'd in 2 months and only 2 got converted. And if we see that there is a history in last 5 years, in every 40 CRs, 15 to 20 got converted, then there might be some problem with the person who is doing IA, or there might be a problem with the client side who is actually approving the IAs. So it is not always a problem in our side. So we always have to have trust in our team. We have to be with our team to understand our team. And also we should keep an eye on the client side who are actually, working. So it's again a very tricky way to work in a collaborative way to help customers to understand the IA and then get the IA converted into a CR. So those are the trackers, I think, very, very important.
Okay, thanks, Samita, for that. Okay, so this is the last one and the most important one.
Finally.
So let's so let's assume you have to hire a project manager for your own project. So what are the key attributes you look out into that PM for your project?
Usually we try to take a person who has been worked in the same area, say for example for banking experience, for retail experience, for airline domain experience. That is the first thing we see. Second thing also we see, there are 2 things. One is a technical PM, one is a non-technical or functional PM. So if the PM is technical, then how he is going to benefit us. If we have our strong technical team, architects, TLs, we may not need the manager who is too much into technical. We may need a person who has good knowledge in the functional or in the domain, and also who is a good people manager who needs to manage the team. So those are the criteria we see. Also we see how many, client project they have done. It can be in-house also, but yes, if I'm looking for a project manager for my project where I have 10 clients, then whether the person whom I'm recruiting have ever worked with client, whether it's a client facing manager or a back-end manager. So that is also an important thing. And also probably the good communication, one thing, how good you are into communicating with people. Those are the basic thing we check.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sumita. So yeah, we are just finished, Sumita.
Thank you,
So,
Sanat. I
so
hope
thanks a
it will
lot.
help.
Yeah, of course. Some of the answers are really great, and I'm sure like a lot of people who is going to watch this session, right? They will definitely get, if not all, but there are few key important aspects of project management. The way what someone is looking into a project manager, what are the key matrices, important things. A lot of things we have covered, I guess, in this session. So thanks a lot, Sumita, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.